Acceptance of homosexuality differs globally. Gallup reveals why some countries are more tolerant than others. Jonathon Rauch is a guest scholar at the Brookings Institution and a senior writer for the National Journal. He recently wrote a book titled Gay Marriage: Why It Is Good for Gays, Good for Straights, and Good for America. I spoke with Jonathon to get his perspective on acceptance of homosexuality and gay marriage globally. Let's look at the top 10 countries with the high tolerance of homosexuality on the Gallup Index. So what do you think is different about these countries that you believe makes their acceptance of homosexuality higher than other countries on our Gallup Index?
Well, one thing is a lot of them have gay marriage. America, of course, doesn't. But most of them have either gay marriage or civil unions. So that tells you they've institutionalized tolerance. Another is that they tend to be very wealthy countries. And we know that toleration tends to rise with wealth and education. They're also very well-educated countries. All these things go together. And finally, a lot of them are in the orbit that we think of as the West. That is to say, they're all generally secularized industrial countries, and those have been places that have been pretty gay-friendly over the years.
Do you think the U.S. has the environment to one day accept gay marriage?
Well, of course, America has gay marriage in Massachusetts, a single state, but of course, as you know, it's also been very controversial here. The movement over time, as polls by Gallup among others have shown, is that the younger you are, the more accepting you are, first of homosexuality, and second, the younger you are, the more accepting you are of gay marriage. So that suggests slow movement in time in the United States.
So what do you think is happening in South Africa, that it's not in the top 10, but yet gay marriage is legal there?
I can tell you about Africa more generally, where South Africa tends to look quite different. It is wealthier, it is better educated, for example, and again, those things tend to correlate with acceptance of homosexuality. Africa as a whole is the least tolerant country when it comes to homosexuality, and in fact when it comes to a number of other things as well. Africa tends to be a country where a lot of people will tell pollsters, we really don't have homosexuals here. We have these bad behaviors that are brought in from other places, and so these attitudes, I think, will take a long time to change.
Well, that helps me switch gears to the bottom 10 on our list. And there are obviously there's some African countries in there. So what do you think it is about these countries that puts them in the bottom 10?
Well, first there's the question of secularization. A lot of them are less secular. At the lower ranks, you'll have a fair number of Islamic countries. Islam is a religion which has still not come to terms for the most part with homosexuality, at least less so than Christianity and Judaism. They also have their problems with it, but they're further toward a more accepting worldview. Second, these are countries that are less wealthy, less cosmopolitan, less linked to the international system by trade and education and international ties in other countries. So they tend to be less exposed to some of the kinds of views and openly gay people, for that matter, which you'll find in Europe and America. Third, a lot of them have fairly repressive government regimes. And when you're in a country that actively represses homosexuals, then gay people tend to stay out of sight in many cases. So people don't think there are gay people, they think they're a threat, they think they're like vampires, you know, this hidden subculture. And of course, the law has a great deal of emotional power. If you see people going to jail for being gay, then that tends to be very stigmatized.
I'm Yasmin Vasugian, and join us again to hear more voices from around the world.